The $70 million Yuan Dynasty blue and white piece that lived in my biometric safe is now center stage in Chloe's newest video. She's live streaming, a minor league food influencer chasing to perfect plating. The caption gushes. Catch a CEO's heart, start with a midnight snack. I call my husband the second I see it. Every antique in that safe is catalogued. Apparently his little girlfriend couldn't tell a numbered relic from a salad bowl. 10+ calls, all dumped to voicemail. I file a theft report with the Institute, top-grade artifact protocol. When the undercover agents crashed Chloe's livestream studio, she's still basking in her handiwork, 1 second smiling, the next face down in cuffs. 100,000 viewers watch her eat floor. If she won't learn manners, let the professionals teach. Serena, you're the one who had Chloe hauled away? Adrian's voice detonates beside my ear. I flinch. You wouldn't pick up. He hurls his car keys at the marble, the metal housing ricochets off my shin. She didn't know what it was, just thought it was some pretty plate. After this spectacle, how is she supposed to face her followers? Serena, you abuse power like it's oxygen. I stand slowly, close the distance one step at a time. Opening a biometric safe and removing a grade I artifact, know the sentence? Adrian blanks, then snorts. Who says she stole anything? Did it leave the house? Got proof she cracked your safe? The lock's untouched. I stare, disappointment tasting like rust. He mistakes silence for surrender. You know how tough influencers have it, she borrowed it for eye candy, a couple thousand new followers, that's all. She's had it rough, only a sick grandmother back home, roof leaking every rain. She juggles 3 gigs just to buy the old lady a new house. Can't you feel for her? I echo his last word. Feel? Plenty work themselves sick, parents who can't afford their kids' chemo, families who never see a hot meal. They don't rate pity, only Chloe does? Why aren't you bankrolling them? Adrian's brows nod in disbelief. Serena, that's a false equivalence. When did you become this cold? I look down at him. Unless I'm mistaken, you lease her a one-click from Sterling condo under housing stipend, market rent 10 grand. She cooks for you daily, and you wire $50K a month labeled ingredients. Plus her base salary as your assistant already hits $700K a year. He goes quiet, then rallies. Legitimate expenses. Eating out costs more. If you cooked for me you could pocket it, since you don't, why can't I hire someone? Daily home cooking, for him. I almost laugh. I open Chloe's Instagram. To celebrate her onboarding, full Chanel seasonal drop. Birthday, complete Hermès Clements collection. 200K followers milestone, 20-day global tour, business class. I shut the screen, voice glacial. Quick question, do you remember my birthday? Ever thrown me a congratulations for my digs? In your heart, who matters, her or me? Impatience flickers across his face. How many birthdays did you even spend home? Your glorified job keeps you airborne. Should I send a calendar invite? Aren't you too old for who's more important games? Grow up. I nod. You're right. I'm childish. Then go find someone mature. I kick the keys aside and climb the stairs. Serena, what's that attitude? Think I can't spring her without you? I pause at the landing, smile thin. Give it a shot. Adrian storms out, the door slams hard enough to rattle crystals. Jet-lagged, I crash early. Nightmare jolts me awake, I reach for my phone and see Chloe has posted. Sleep vaporizes. Shot inside a car, she looks tired but radiant. The wrist cradling the camera wears a brand new Patek, Adrian's. He actually did it, bailed her out. I screen grab the clip and ping my lawyer, prepare the divorce papers. Lying back, I remember his wedding vow. Because of my fieldwork, I arrived at the church last, dress half-zipped, breathless. He said, I'm Serena's rear base, she chases the dream, I guard her fire. Those words reddened my eyes. I swore to give him everything time allowed, to repay whatever I lacked. Love, they say, is chronic guilt. After the wedding I memorized every sterling birthday, never missed a holiday gift. He knew every passcode, every safe. Never imagined one day he'd hand them to a third pair of hands. I sit up all night, dawn finds me still dressed. My mother-in-law calls. Serena, dear, I heard Adrian crossed the line, but you know how crazy he is about you. Standing up for that secretary was just to spark your jealousy. When tempers cool, talk it out. Couples fight, then they make up. Don't stay angry. I exhale. Mom, how did Chloe walk? She murmurs she has no idea, only asks me to come over. I agree. At the Sterling estate Adrian hasn't changed clothes. He shouts the instant he sees me. Serena, tattling now? You got my parents to throw Chloe out, when did you turn so vicious? Margaret smacks his arm. Quit it. Evicting the girl was your father's and my decision. He wheels on her. Taking her side? If she hadn't squealed, how would you even know? I meet his glare, contempt heavy in my chest for the first time. His pupils ignite. He grabbed the vase from the table and hurled it at me. I jerked my head aside, but the vase slammed into my shoulder. Shards of porcelain sliced my cheek, leaving thin trails of blood. Margaret rushed to restrain Adrian. Richard, who had stayed in his study until now, stepped out as well. Adrian, I'm still alive, this house isn't yours to run yet. Apologize to your wife. Adrian lifted his chin, proud and unrepentant. I did nothing wrong, why should I apologize? I wiped the wound and stared at the blood on my fingertips. My heart finally died. Adrian, let's get divorced. A flicker of panic crossed his eyes. Divorce? So now you threaten me with divorce? Serena, you're disgusting. Silently, I pulled the papers from my bag. You'll know whether it's a threat once you sign. Adrian snatched the agreement and flipped through the pages. When he saw my signature already on the last one, he stared at me in shock. You really want this? Just because Chloe used that plate? You had her arrested, she's learned her lesson, and your institute isn't pressing charges, are you showing off? I studied his stubborn face and sighed. Adrian, you know exactly what that U on blue and white meant. During the earthquake my mentors and colleagues died. They lifted me on their shoulders to push me out of the collapsing pit so the artifact could survive. The porcelain was stained with their blood and tears, yet she plated your dinner with it. How could you swallow a single bite in peace? Adrian began to tremble, as if hearing it for the first time. I didn't know, she washed the piece, I couldn't tell. If I'd known, I'd never have let her touch. I raised my hand to cut him off. But you gave her the biometric safe code. Everything that happened, you allowed. For once Adrian looked lost, he instinctively turned to Margaret. She hurried to soothe me. Dear daughter-in-law, the artifact is back at your institute, no real harm done. Adrian truly regrets it. Punish him however you like, but divorce seems extreme. Richard chimed in, tell your director the Sterling family will cover every cent of restoration, whatever the cost. It was Adrian's mistake, I interrupted. No need. Adrian already paid. At those words Adrian averted his eyes. Margaret quickly said, see? Adrian supports your work, he must have apologized to your director in person. I gave a cold laugh. You're wrong. He paid to protect Chloe. He handed over $1 million for repairs and donated $30 million in research funds to the institute. Otherwise, how do you think she walked free? Margaret pinched him hard, Richard's face turned grayer. As I turned to leave, Adrian caught my arm. It wasn't all for her, at least the 30 million wasn't. Serena, I really know I messed up. I've apologized to everyone at your institute. They forgave me. Can't you give me one more chance? Tomorrow I'll fire Chloe, she'll never appear in front of you again. Just one more chance, okay? He gripped my wrist, dazed and desperate. I stayed silent a long moment. Sign, and we enter the 1-month cooling-off period. If you keep every promise, I'll consider. He didn't want to, but my resolve made him yield. After scrawling his name, he called Chloe in front of me and told her to clear her desk tomorrow. From then on he stuck to me like a shadow. Because after that last dig I'd been forced on leave and ordered into therapy. Even now nightmares jerk me awake every night, and each time Adrian pulls me close and pats my back. The therapist urged me to get out more, so he mapped half a dozen city walk routes. He ignored a multi-billion-dollar company to stroll sidewalks with me, spent whole afternoons in museums listening while I explained each artifact's story, sat with me in the Athenaeum poring over dusty monographs, questioning me word by word. Sunlight through the library glass rested on his shoulder, and for a moment I saw the Adrian I'd fallen for. At last my therapy ended, only 3 days of the cooling-off period remained. Everything seemed to promise a fresh start. I prepared to return to work. The night before, Adrian clung to me, wishing time could freeze. I felt the same. Yet on my first morning back, our fragile bubble burst. During lunch the security desk called. "Professor Vance, please come down, we can't handle her. Your grandmother's downstairs causing a scene. She claims the yuan blue and white is her family heirloom and demands we return it or she'll die on the spot." My brows knitted. Grandmother? Mine had died when I was small. Who was this woman? I told the guard as much. He hesitated, he knew I'd never joke about that. Still, he asked uneasily, "She insists she's your grandma and that your husband recently gave us millions, she's yelling about bribery. If this gets out, call Riverdale, I'm coming down." "Yes, ma'am, thank you." I hung up and hurried out. Sure enough, a woman in her 70s sat at the institute gate, wailing. "This place devours people. Corrupt officials. Let honest folk die. They steal my heirloom, lock my granddaughter up, and her husband has to pay millions to spring her. Who will give justice to an old woman?" When security tried to help her up, she rolled on the ground. "He hit me. The officials beat me. I can't live." The young officer flushed crimson. "I didn't, I only tried to lift you." But the softer he spoke, the louder she sobbed. "No justice. Who speaks for common folk? I've got a few years left, if no one helps, I'll die right here." Though we're a classified facility, her racket was drawing eyes. I couldn't actually gag her. She was too old, and the guards didn't dare use force. They just bustled around like ants on a hot griddle. The instant one guard spotted me his eyes lit up. "Professor Vance, thank heavens you're here." I looked at the old woman rolling on the floor and an idea formed. "Ma'am, did you say your granddaughter's husband donated money to our institute?" "That's right. My granddaughter's husband is a big-time CEO, he owns the whole Sterling Empire. You people locked her up just to extort him, and today I'm getting justice for them." I pulled up a photo of Adrian and showed it with a smile. "Grandma, take a look, this your granddaughter's husband?" She jabbed the screen. "Yes, that's him. 2 days ago he bought me a huge house, even has an elevator." The smile slid off my face, I straightened. "What a coincidence, that's my husband, but my own grandmother's been underground for over a decade." "Which grandmother might you be? Also, do you know the penalty for defaming a public official? Your granddaughter dragged you here to make a scene, surely she warned you about the consequences? Old or not, you could finish your days eating prison food." Shock pulled her wrinkles tight. She scrambled up, finger stabbing at me, shrieking curses. Calmly I dialed a number. As the old woman's voice rose, the call connected. You liars. You're all on the take. I'm reporting you. Today you give my granddaughter's husband's money back. I glanced at my phone and chuckled softly. Alex, your grandma's here defending your honor. She's working so hard, won't you come watch? A clatter on the other end, something had clearly been knocked over. What grandma? Adrian's voice was low, fighting to stay steady. I don't know what you're talking about. Right then Chloe darted in from nowhere, throwing her arms around the old woman, wailing. Serena, come at me if you want, just leave my grandma alone. Before I could answer, Adrian came through the phone, even more frantic. Serena, don't touch her. By the time Adrian arrived, I was already at the precinct. He rushed in, panic all over his face, checking Chloe first. Only after seeing she wasn't hurt did he exhale. He came to my side, feigning total ignorance. Serena, what on earth happened? I took it all in, cold laughter inside. You really have no idea what happened? Since you're clueless, I'll let the officers follow procedure. Adrian threw out a hand to stop me. Serena, do you have to make this ugly? I'm making it ugly? I pointed at the woman in Chloe's arms. I'm the one making it ugly? When did you become her granddaughter's husband? Adrian, tomorrow is the last day of the cooling-off period, can't you even wait? He reached to grab my arm, but Chloe beat him, dropping to her knees in front of me. It's all my fault. I babbled in front of Grandma. She's old and confused, she misheard. There's no such thing as a granddaughter's husband. Please, she's almost 80, let her go. Watching her granddaughter bow like this, the old woman's heart broke. She howled, beating her chest in the middle of the station. Listening to her robust lungs, you'd never guess she was almost 80. Oh, my poor grandchild, so smart, so talented, but born into a family like ours. It's Grandma who failed you. I should die, I've no face to meet your grandpa and parents. Silly girl, why kneel to her? Can't you see? She's using her power to bully us. The pair sobbed louder and louder. Officers tried to help the woman up, she slapped anyone who came near, pure country shrew. Everyone looked to me, helpless. Whether I'm bullying anyone is for the law to decide, not you. You claim that yuan blue and white jar is yours, got proof? I told you outside the institute, private possession of artifacts is a serious crime. Keep this up and you'll be jailed on the spot. The crying stopped, the old woman stared at Chloe in terror. She clutched Chloe's arm, then suddenly knelt toward me and began kowtowing. Please don't lock me up, have mercy. I'm old, I can't take it. Mid-beg, she fainted. Officers carried her in a flurry to the hospital. A detective I knew held me back. Professor Vance, this could be big or small. Look at her condition, maybe let it go. They didn't want trouble, if she died here it'd be a nightmare. I nodded and followed to Riverdale General. I watched Adrian scurry about, comforting Chloe that everything would be fine. Running to registration and billing. Pulling strings for a team of specialists, even roping in the hospital president. Inside and out they checked Chloe's grandma. Once I saw she was stable, I left first to meet my lawyer. After we hashed out every detail, I opened Instagram. Chloe had posted a new video, she cooked dinner at home and brought it to the ward. Adrian and her grandma each with a thermal lunchbox, chatting and laughing. The clip ended with a warm voiceover. 3 meals, 4 seasons, the everyday aroma of life, something everyone longs for. I snorted and blacked the screen. Adrian had been picky since childhood, both our families kept Michelin star chefs year-round. I'd never once seen him holding a lunchbox, eating what looked like takeout. Tomorrow is the final day of the cooling-off period. Hoping he'll show at City Hall the day after, I called. The phone rang 3 times before it was picked up. Professor Vance? Sorry, Adrian's taking Grandma for tests. Should I get him? The triumph in her voice was impossible to hide. I answered coolly, remind him not to forget the day after tomorrow. Since he wants an ordinary life, I'll give it to him, wrapped and delivered. After I hung up, I stretched out on the couch and stared at the ceiling while the comments under that video scrolled across my phone. People who work hard deserve the best life has to offer. Keep fighting, little sis, may you hug the moon in your heart real soon. Exactly, the divorce is almost final anyway. Let the ex-wife drop dead. Below that was a sewer of obscenities, every drop aimed at me. I was still reading them, one by one, when the ringtone cut through. Adrian. The instant I picked up, a coy squeal slid through the speaker. Ouch, go gentler. Chloe. I froze as though flash frozen, not a muscle moving. Her voice kept coming. Adrian, stop moving, I can't take it. Then Adrian's low baritone. Delicate little thing. Happy now? That single word delicate had me slamming the phone down in a panic. My first instinct was to race over and confront Adrian. But I stopped at the door. Adrian, Chloe. You think I'm easy prey, don't you? Since you've decided to throw your faces away, let me help you along. I had someone dig up the address of the house Adrian gave Chloe. Empty. When the possibility that they were doing it in a hospital hit me, revolt twisted my stomach. I swung the car around and headed to Riverdale. I found he'd actually booked a suite, the old woman's bed in the inner room, a double bed in the outer. Rumpled sheets, a blanket puddled on the floor. I swallowed the bile and pushed farther in. Grandmother was clutching Adrian's hand when I opened the inner door. Chloe sat peeling fruit, head down. She glanced at me, schadenfreude flickering in her eyes. Adrian sprang up, blurting, "Why are you here so late?" My gaze zeroed in on the dark wet patch on his trousers near the groin, and my stare went arctic. Whatever we need to say, let's say it outside. It's too late, Grandmother needs rest. Chloe tugged me out. The instant we crossed the threshold I flung her hand off. A dull thud, her shoulder smacked the doorframe. Adrian winced. Why explode the moment you arrive? Everything's already settled. I pointed at the damp spot on his pants, high on the inner thigh. Care to explain this? Chloe leapt in front of him. Grandmother's hands shake, she spilled water on Adrian's trousers. She called me big sis, and the syrupy Adrian she'd cooed on the phone replayed in my skull. I pressed a fist to my stomach. Through clenched teeth I forced each word. Did the two of you sleep together? Adrian flushed crimson. Are you insane? Chloe just told you, water spill. You slander us the second you open your mouth. Even if you doubt me, you can't accuse us of. His eyes reddened, as though I'd heaped unspeakable humiliation on him. If I hadn't picked up that call, maybe I'd have believed I'd wronged him. I gave a cold laugh. Whatever, Adrian. From now on you can climb into whoever's bed you like, sleep with whoever you want. I'm done caring. Don't forget, day after tomorrow, City Hall Divorce Bureau, we finish this. Chloe's eyes lit up. I didn't dwell on it. Adrian clenched his jaw, fury crackling. Fine, divorce it is. Think I care? He stormed out, slamming the door. The instant he was gone, Chloe dropped the act. Professor Vance, I hope you keep your word. Then she hurried after him. A thought flashed through my mind, I shoved it away. One more day and I'd be forever free of Adrian. But I never imagined that the very next day the accident would break across every headline. In minutes it owned the front page of every site. Gossip blogs spun it into a tale of me chasing glory, ignoring safety, insisting on descending the pit, then abandoning my colleagues when catastrophe hit. Worse, I supposedly withheld the artifact instead of turning it over to the state, Chloe's timely discovery the only thing preventing me from smuggling it overseas. Overnight, Chloe became the lone heroine who'd saved the relic, while I was trampled into mud, a rat hated by the entire internet. Because the institute is classified, the authorities couldn't speak openly. Still, my supervisor rang at once. "Serena, how are you holding up? Netizens love a storm, don't let it get to you. We all know what really happened. You, your mentor, our fallen colleagues, your dedication to archaeology is beyond question." I knew he was trying to steady me, afraid I'd collapse. I thanked him again and again, insisting I was fine. His voice dropped. "The Institute can't stand up for you openly, but we can ask a sister unit for help." "No need, I've got this." I scrolled through the reports while replying. "If you need anything, tell me first, understood?" He worried on for several more sentences before I laughed and requested a week off. Time for the final reckoning. I dialed an unmarked number. "Grandfather, it's Serena." "Humph, so you do remember you have a grandfather?" I huffed a laugh. "Wouldn't dare forget." His tone snapped to stern. "Xiao, you should have told me." I froze. "If you'd called, the Vance rescue team would have been deployed instantly." "Are you still angry about what happened back then?" I covered my eyes, voice cracking. "Grandfather, it was already too late." "All right, enough, we won't speak of it." "So, why are you ringing this old man?" I sketched the recent mess, skipping the ugliest details. "Grandfather, the institute can't go public, I want to respond as a Vance. Also, besides my dowry, you once made a private investment in the Sterling family, correct?" He choked, mumbling, trying to dodge. "Grandfather, I know you meant well, I'm not settling accounts. Just pull the funds. And terminate every project. Starting tomorrow, the Vance Group will have zero ties to the Sterlings. Adrian and I are finished, period." A deep sigh traveled down the line, he seemed to age 10 years in a breath. "Child, I'm sorry. After we lost your parents and you lost your home, I believed that Sterling boy truly loved you, that you'd finally have a family of your own." I forced back the sting in my eyes and soothed him. "Grandfather, the past is buried. As long as you're here, I have a home. Once this is over, I'll spend real time with you." The moment I hung up, I gathered my emotions and got to work. I steeled myself and emailed my resignation letter to the institute. After that debacle, I'd already wanted to quit. Grandfather was getting old, and it was time I kept him company. The instant I hit send, Vance Holdings released an official bulletin. "Vance chairman announces retirement, empire to pass to mystery heiress. Heiress has never appeared in public. She will make her grand debut at the company's anniversary gala." A dozen headlines in a row, their heat smothering every story about Chloe. Fair enough, this was the conglomerate that made Riverdale shudder when it stamped its foot. Then a string of new items detonated online. Food titan Sterling Foods implodes as partners bolt. Sterling family said to be broke, whose toes did they step on? Shock, influencer Chloe exposed as Sterling CEO's secret mistress. When the final item dropped, the internet combusted. Chloe's name had barely trended before Sterling cratered, anyone with a pulse linked the two. I supplied the closing flourish. Opening a burner account, I posted a 5-second voice memo. It was short, but nuclear. Easy. Adrian, stop moving, I can't take it. Such a baby. Happy now? Props to the Institute issue phone, the recorder lived inside it. A tech colleague clipped the clip for me. Within minutes, thousands of users tagged Chloe underneath. "Girl, you're off the chain. The other voice is Sterling's CEO?" I'm screaming. So the wife Sterling cheated on is the Vance heiress, right? Netizens, as usual, nailed the truth. While theories swarmed, Adrian called. Serena, I swear I didn't know about that recording. Chloe used my phone to call you. She twisted her ankle, the doctor said to rub the cream in, so I helped. That's all. Believe me, I'd never. I already knew. I'd sensed something off that same night. So what? Adrian, from now on address me as Ms. Vance. Tomorrow, 9 a.m., City Hall Divorce Bureau. His breath caught. No. I won't sign, I won't lose you. He hung up. I arched a cool brow. At this stage he still thought he had options? The Sterlings threw money everywhere to plug the leak, snapping up condos, yachts, art. The hole only widened, suppliers blacklisted anything with Sterling's label. Everyone in Riverdale knows which scale tips heavier, Sterling or Vance. Richard phoned nonstop, then camped outside my building. Daughter-in-law, I failed to rein the brat in. Let me apologize on his behalf. We're all businessmen, no need to drive a man to ruin, right? He looked at me, beseeching. I smiled thinly. So you're saying I forced your hand? That I orchestrated my own public shaming? He shook his head violently. I only meant, Chloe cooked this up, she dialed you so you'd overhear that garbage. Adrian never wronged you, not once. Then how did Chloe learn about the dig team? You think I'm an idiot? Richard saw the wall. He left, ash-faced. That night word came he'd suffered a stroke and been admitted to Riverdale General. Simultaneously, the city's cyber affairs unit posted an official notice on red letterhead. Scores of gossip blogs were shuttered, a dozen media outlets fined. No explanations, just a granite statement standing behind me. In one blink, every rumor vanished. Next morning I didn't bother with the bureau, I knew Adrian wouldn't show. I left the rest to my attorney. This marriage was ending, period. On gala night, floodlights drenched the marble steps. I walked at grandfather Theodore's side toward the stage. After his speech, I faced the forest of lenses and dropped the headline. Yes, you guessed right, I'm the ex-wife who got cheated on. As of today I hold my final divorce decree and I've resigned from my former post. Now I can give you the whole uncut story. That same hour, prosecutors unsealed Chloe's arrest warrant. Investigation showed she had embezzled an artifact and defamed a public servant, inciting mass misinformation and damaging cultural relics. Combined sentence, 8 years. Her fake grandmother was wheeled out of the VIP ward. Back at the ballroom, the press corps listened in silence. One reporter exhaled. Ms. Vance, I admire you, razor sharp, ice cool under fire. And you sever what's toxic without hesitation. I'll write this true. He did. Clean, linear, zero sensationalism, yet every reader felt what I'd felt. So I handed him my first business profile as well. From that day on, I remembered his byline. I didn't hear about Adrian until 3 months later. Chloe's supposed grandma kept wailing outside Sterling headquarters. Adrian, already cracking, had security escort her away. The old woman threw herself on the pavement, shrieking. Adrian lost it and cursed her. She clutched her chest, dead of a heart attack before EMTs arrived. Though no kin pressed charges, the internet jury never rested. Bankruptcy followed, then whispers of a breakdown. None of it concerned me any longer. Tonight that same reporter has booked me for a live stream. Mid-broadcast, viewer questions flash across the prompter. He lifts the cue card, cheeks reddening. Ms. Vance, why agree to only my interviews? I let the pause stretch. Under the producer's glare I finally answer. Because the story matched the man, objective, fair. Thanks to you, the public met me without tint or tinting. So every viewer who applauds me today does so through your lens. The chat window explodes. Clips of my reply circulate for weeks, voted the year's most human confession. Honestly, I'm grateful. I met the right person at the right hour. I can step into a new life, account balanced, slate clean. Thank you for listening to this story. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate it? If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and share with friends. Tell us your thoughts in the comments, subscribe for more tales, and see you next time.